I'm excited to be here in Mysore with Bharath, and we are here. We just did a wonderful class, so we're going to begin our interview. Thank you. So wonderful to have you, and thank you for teaching such a great class. We're honored. Could you tell us a little bit about your life? How did you start yoga, and just you can let us know.
Okay. Maybe I'll cut short. It's a big story. I started it around 1993, and there was a lecture in my school days when I was studying in 9th standard. The school, they introduced a lecture about yoga, and the professor who was speaking about yoga, he said yoga is good for so and so and so, and one of that was asthma. I was struggling for acute asthma those days, and that is they interested me towards yoga. In my school, there was daily, weekly twice there is a yoga session. I started into that, and that took me a lot of interest. It's more interesting, and it also felt very helpful in the overcoming into this breathing problem. And then I got one book called Yoga from the Vivekananda Kendra, and I started studying, and I'm doing more myself. Not even twice a week, and every day I started doing. It felt much more good. Then later I got another book called Light on Yoga, or a Yoga Deepika in the local language. That is the next 10 years, it was my teacher. And almost this inspired me to do yoga, and I enjoyed it. That's the whole path started. And in 1995, I traveled to Bangalore for my further studies. That time I saw, when I was practicing in a park, someone came and asked me, can you teach me also some yoga? I started teaching him in the park next to me, then what I am practicing. And the day he come with his friend. And from 95 till 98, I was college days, there is I got around from the 1 student to 60 student. In 98, then I started a small center. Then from there, I just continued my journey into the full-time yoga as a profession.
Another question I like to ask is that you studied with B.K.S. Iyengar. That must be really amazing. How did that start? And could you give me a little idea what it was like to study with him?
Impossible to explain that experience. It is amazing to be with a guru or his light always. And I met him in 2002. 10 years I did yoga looking his book. Okay, in 2002, December 26th, I met him. And when I first met him, he was scolding me. He asked me some question. He was scolding me 15 minutes non-stop. He was scolding. Everyone is looking towards us. Then after 15 minutes, after that, all these things, he said, go and meet Pandu, or the secretary of the center. For my surprise, the Pandu asked me, how long you want to study yoga? I said, how long I can. Because normally you can get only 1 month or 2 months after waiting 4 years. That's what I went to register myself to come 2 years later to study there. Then he said, as long as you want. Then surprise for me, Guruji was, he didn't know, we never met before. But I told him I'm practicing since 10 years, and I asked certain question. And when he was scolding me, I can see it's his eyes are full of love. That's amazing. That's that right after that, when they met the institute, they opened me to study as long as I want, as much as I want. That's what I found a guru in it. That's otherwise we have a limits into it. But he's seen my patience, and I think my ego and other things are tested. Most of the time people get misunderstood. Okay, this teacher is too egoistic and all, they'll leave. But I didn't see any ego with him. I see it's a purity and a pure love from his eyes. Then after the 8 months I spent with him there full time, I spent around 6 to 8 hours every day. And that 6 to 8 hours of the practice, it made me a big difference with him, even including spending some time with the library and therapy classes, using all different type of angles. A lot I learned from him. And in 2011 he come to Mysore and we spent 4 days with him. Even he come to know my daughter's birthday on one of the day. He decided the program that day. Say, today no other program, we'll go to the zoo with Ajna. Okay, that's her birthday. That is what Guru, but amazing. It's an amazing experience with him.
Well, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe can you give me an idea? Say why you were studying with BKS.
He doesn't teach personally, it's a led class or anything. Most of the classes done by his daughter or son. Okay, every day there is a 2 hours, one session with the daughter or son in the morning or evening. Then he comes class at 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock through self-practice. I spending where he is practicing, he only selected few people who can practice next to him in the shala at that time. At that time I was practicing with him, and that was very close to him. I was very next to him, I think the second one or third one I was next to him. And he was practicing and he watches everyone, and he just don't go and do anything directly. He keep watching, and he sees the person is struggling every day and every day and every day. One day he just goes and kicks. The asana just happens. That's the beauty of the Gurus. He knows what exactly the point he has to work, or exactly what point the practitioner is missing. And that was amazing. Then normally there is 3:30 to 4:30 we spend time in the library every day, except Sunday. Every day in the library he spends time. Every day 1 hour he spends on studies there.
And what type of studies did you do in the library?
Library, if you all yoga related books is in the library. It's a huge library. Any yoga related book you need, that is available there. You can pick up and you can look into that, and many of the things how to use. I think he is author of many books. And there's a lot of stuff he's invented. That's all explains in this library. It is the best time I spent my time of studies in part.
Well, that was and then you did that until what year?
It's in the 2003 I studied all these things with him.
Wow. And so now with the modern yoga, how does that make you feel when you think that the yoga business is, especially in the United States, they say about a $27 billion business. Does that make you happy? Is that good?
That is it's what I was watching this last few years as I'm doing professionally, and since 2002, we have a lot of the overseas students come and study with us. At least they make a business, and they also do a introduction to many people. Maybe people go and do some the hop and do some yoga, something. When we start practicing, we realize, okay, something I'm missing, where I can find. They started research it. They go more into someone a serious practitioner. Say they go more into root to find out where exactly I can get the best. And it's making business. I am not saying wrong. They will give an opportunity to many people to know there is some source you can look. So, yeah, they will they open an opportunity for many people, and that is good. End of the day, money comes and goes. But if anyone find a path of bliss, that makes a difference. Maybe this gives an opportunity for many people. Okay, try out a yoga class. They maybe felt good. I heard recently some of my students said they went to some classes. They do a very good class on 1 hour, constant, and that everyone is walking. They got little stuff. What is going on? Okay. Normally in India, if you see, when you do yoga, means end of the session, there should be proper relaxation. Without relaxing, we normally don't walk out. But I heard she went in somewhere in US. I don't know exactly which place it is, and she said I'm a bit lost where I am in. Okay. But it is once again, like, it's many times what happened, people consider as a alternate exercise. When you look alternate exercise, there is not much of the connectivity. But when they realize, okay, there is something missing, we start they're looking for something depth. When that's always a good to have many people have an opportunity to try. But not everyone, like, the human being, we have a beautiful stuff called buddhi, When we say, okay, we need to search something different, okay, trying to find out, and inquiry starts. And it's always good. People like, introducing into someone into my teacher who is introduced me to yoga, but he didn't take into like, he never asked, okay, you have to stay here and work, but he's taken, go and study more, deepen it. Okay, if it are not they known from me, you go and search somewhere. And he didn't like, he's not a full professionally taught yoga. He was take his yoga as his hobby, and he start teaching. Then, like, that's give me a lot of opportunity. Same thing, like, when some 10,000 people doing, at least 1,000 start going more deeper inquiry. Okay, that 10,000, the 1,000 people take another, the 100 people each, there is a 100,000 on second. Where people meet yoga, that makes a big difference.
So when we were talking about modern yoga, and it happens a lot, and I think it's sometimes most people would never go to a yoga studio, so that it's okay. You're in a gym. It's sometimes if a person then doesn't seek a deeper meaning, they might end up taking yoga and hurting themselves if it's not taught right, or if it's just super fast or super hot, and that's sometimes the downfall. But I like the fact that you said that it's okay.
Yes, what is normally happens in it. People, mostly it happens in a traditional way of teaching and a modern way of teaching. When a traditional way of teaching, we have a program individualized. There's 20 people in the class, 20 people have 20 different programs according to individual requirement. Modern people doesn't have that much patience. Okay, it's what I'm watching even the speed of the people's practice. It's once they break, then only they come to make. You say, okay, I will safely teach, nobody comes to your class. Okay, you say, come on, show off something, then, okay, there is a dynamics, come on, speed. So then once you when you learn a car, you go very fast and you hit. Then you realize, okay, I'm going too fast. The damage, then only we come to know. When you're going into the first gear, it's a little slow, and how to control it is too boring. What is the modern practice is something like, I found it like that. People don't have patience. Okay. They they want to sweat. Some of the ideas sweat. Some of the people thinks, okay, I have 1 month, I have to do headstand now. Okay, if they come and ask us here, we directly says, you can't do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, to learn headstand, minimum takes around 3 to 6 months. You just imagine a baby want to stand from the they're lying on the floor. It takes anything between 6 months to 1 year. Just imagine the baby doesn't have even a thought in mind. He takes so much time. Our mind runs around 60,000 thoughts every day. Just imagine you want to run in 1 week or 1 day going upside down. It takes time. But the same thing when the damages happens due to the speed. Mm-hmm. Okay. People if you're safely you're teaching, how many people are going to come to your class?
The most popular classes are the super fast, super loud music, and fast, and I've taught both. As soon as I went back to my roots and started teaching more slow hatha or at the wall, not as many, or you're known as being hard, which but I think there's another movement happening. Yes. I think more and more people are starting to go, okay, it's okay to go back.
Exactly, that is what happens. A person goes and tries something and he or she breaks, then realize, okay, something I'm missing here. They started looking, okay, somewhere, what is the other option I have? Then they will go and find out, right, once you break, then, okay, try to make, then awareness comes. till we break, we didn't know. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. That's the speed is there. That is what is called the rajas is really high. When we have a tamas, is there rajas, which is burns one little bit, then we start to make it back. So we believe in India. If you take in a papaya tree, you get papayas, but it takes only 3 months to grow. It only leaves maximum 3 years. But if you want to they grow a mango tree, first 5 years you don't get anything, you have to only care it. But after 5 years, its next 100 years, it's keep on giving more mangoes every year. Okay, that's what is called the caring part or someone really grounding part. But you want a quick fruit, papaya. You want to really get something from long term, then mangoes. Or like if you take into the other the sandalwood and all. Sandalwood takes minimum 30 years to get a smelling of the sandalwood, right? But people need patience for that. Or 3 months or 3 years, the papaya gives a quick the crops and this breaks down. But what is the modern practice is that we see that here. People come and I have 1 week, I want to learn those. We said, sorry, when you get some more time, then come. We need, if you want to learn this week, this is only much we can teach. Okay, that's what we see, the many of the time I see people are come with injuries here. And why they get injuries? The speed. Okay, their practice speed or misunderstanding the concept. But yoga always says, na hatat, na balat, not with the force, not with the pressure. You have to work with the presence. And most of the modern teacher, we don't have patience to teach presence. Okay, that's how it's the differences comes. But when you're looking into that, the modern concept of yoga teaching or a baking business, they you can consider that as they're doing a publicity who are serious teachers. They never lose their interest. What is how many of our modern teachers we have patience of doing our own practice? How many of modern teachers we have patience to do deepening into the depth of what we are doing it? And our teaching is become more in surface level of physical body. Yeah, yes, that is the first level. With the physical body is the first level, but that is become, we are almost going very deep into the physical body. We mostly messed out the pranic body, mind. When you look into the yoga, the whole concept of yoga is all about mind. The mind is the master between the body and the bliss. And it tunes. That is what we call. If you say you think negative, things looks like difficult or painful. If think the same thing as a positive, things looks fresh and growing. Every incident makes you a growth. If you think if it is a growth, or every incident makes you a downfall, you think it's a downfall. It's end of the day, it's a matter of mind, and that's how it happens. What you see in in the West, what you are saying, I was seeing many of the people coming from. We have quite a lot of teachers in US right now, but all of them coming after experiencing different kind of ups and downs. And there's a lot of questions comes they related these days. The reason is we become yoga teachers in overnight. But how much we have spent time to educate ourselves to understand. I saw when I was an initial teacher, someone asked me and come and ask, can you teach me some yoga in the park? I was kind of wow, I'm a yoga teacher right now. I can teach someone. Then after a few years later, I'm teaching teachers. Then I think, okay, you don't know anything still. You go on to study more. Okay, that depth starts when you start experiencing. So when we know a little pond of water, we think, wow, so much water. When you come to the river, it's kind of a little lost, but it's everywhere there is a water. When you reach the ocean, that we are nothing. The whole world of yoga is so big. And we have 18 lineages. Most seen lineage of this world today is the Krishnamacharya lineage. Yeah. Okay, the other 17 lineage we still not seen so much, but there is so much depth in it. Okay, but people see, whoever seriously want to learn something into the depth, they start research more. They never give up.
Right. No, I always feel like I'm brand new.
Yes.
And I've been doing yoga, I don't know, 14 years, but You just feel, every time you walk into a space, you feel brand
A
new.
lot of new things you carry on, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So personally, in your practice now,
Yeah.
what are you focusing on? Because you've been teaching asanas so long and pranayama, and as you get older, what is?
There is three things: body, breath, mind. This is what we call as a part of the external practice. When you do an asana, you can start connecting your breath into it. When the breath and asana, the body works together, mind automatically melts. Is a concept, you know. So, you know, that is kind of a, you will say, the chemistry. When your, so, you know, when your movement is connected with your breath, and mind can't think something else, your thought waves will reduce. This is the stage, takes us into the stage of dharana. The dharana become more stronger and stronger, it becomes dhyana or meditation. The dhyana becomes stronger, you are automatically in samadhi. See, when we start say, I'm going and meditating, most of the, as soon as you close your eyes, mind travels world very fast. That's very easy when you are looking something, your mind is travels only in this shala, when you're doing asana. But that really the asana start blending us, you know, with the breath. When you are blending with the breath, the mind started following. That time, automatically when you sit close body, the closed eyes, you feel your body, the presence of it. The breath is become slow down, thought doesn't comes at all. The blankness builds up. This is automatically we reach. If you look into the Upanishad, it speaks the same thing, you know, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. If you come to our sutras of Patanjali, it says yamas and niyamas. Keep some little discipline in your life. Don't go a hardcore, you know, you have to be ahimsa, satya, asteya. You know, modern people, if you say all these things, oh God, I'm not for yoga, I will do some alternates. Okay? But you know, when you start doing some yoga asana, those things just follows without knowing. Or like, you know, the chemicals, what is there in our system, it changes automatically. That change of chemical changes our thought waves. The thought waves changes automatically. We don't need to change. If you think I am changing it, who am I to change? The change happens. If you change it or not, next moment there is a change happens. Okay, that's why change always follows us. We don't need to make changes. Just we have to follow the changes, and that is what yoga really makes us. Okay, that's one thing I was watching. Like, you know, first thing is a mind changes. Mind keep changing and changing and changing. Which direction we are taking that change, that makes a difference. That's how the yoga makes a big difference in the modern world. And people, the first we start for a physical exercise. As soon as they see they're missing something, and as soon as they realize missing something, they start searching. I'm missing something in my practice. They find breath. When the breath and body start working together, they think something is going lost. Then automatically they see my mind is playing a little tricky right now. That's the beauty of, you know. And you see, there is a, like, you know, the earth element, what is associated to Mooladhara. The water element into the Swadhisthana. The fire element into the navel or the Manipura. This is a heavier. And that heaviness, when you start doing your practice, you start raising into the heart, where your body starts floating. As soon as, you know, we are in the air, we are becoming like a bird. We are flying so easy and light. We are not falling and dull. It's going so light and fresh. That makes huge difference. So automatically, when you start teaching, you know, when you start saying, I'm doing that, really we don't do anything. Things happen when we are just connect your asana with the breath. That's why they told you in the earlier that day. So, you know, our general breathing 18 to 20 breath, it starts slowing down to 12 to 18 breath, the 8 to 12 breath, 6 to the 9 breaths, slowing down. This process of slowing down makes us more relaxed, not to be disturbed, you know. Always you say, when we throw a ball, how you throw? You throw very fast, it comes very fast. If you throw very slow, it goes and stops there, it doesn't come back. Our thoughts like that. As soon as you stop thoughts, it becomes growing. As soon as you are not responding thoughts, it becomes weak. It just disappears. That makes a big difference. That's like, you know, my practice is leading into that angle. I didn't enjoy I didn't force myself into the practice, become more strong. Not necessary. You do asanas. Whenever you asanas, you are just enjoying it. Do a little stronger one. The stronger one makes you more lighter. Sorry, that is a question somewhere, I believe.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
So now in the modern in India, do you see more and more people doing yoga? Indian people doing yoga?
So, there's in the West, you look asana. The yoga means only asanas. Many of the Western people, but in India, there is inbuilt in their daily actions. For example, if many of the families, they do early morning, that is called Sandhya Vandana, where they do Surya Namaskara, pranayamas, mantras, or naturally a half an hour to 1 hour in the morning, half an hour to 90 minutes. Many of the people. Okay, in some people you just say, we don't see they are doing Surya Namaskara, asana or other thing. You go and see how they sit and eat. They sit on the floor and eat. You see, that position itself makes them to the angular there. And you just think a person goes to take a bath, a woman takes a bath, they say, Gange Chayamune Chayva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namostubhyam Namo Namaha. If you think, okay, it is a more religious, it's not religious, when you are present, I am taking a bath now, I am dipping in the holy rivers, which I am releasing all my negativity off. And a person gets up in the morning and this rubs his palms and looks in and sees, Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule sthite Gauri, Prabhate Karadarshanam. See, this is not saying another goddess name or a thing. Just a reminding, I am getting up a new day now. I have to keep a good balance. My wealth, my knowledge or wisdom and my power has to be managed in the well present. That the whole thing, the early morning, they will tell themselves. That is how it changes, every action they do in a yoga there. There is, of course, there is a lot of the changes is there. When you look into the practical part of asanas. And many times, there is a family, they will practice themselves, or sometimes they don't do, but there is a lot of action associated, they keep alert. In India, yoga is not only physical, but it is a lot of awareness now, they're missing. It depends on what kind of the work you are in on that basis. There are many people that are walking few kilometers every day. Yeah, but physically they have some action to do it. But at the same time, mentally they are well alert. When they are going to eat, they have a mantra. They say, and being present and just eat. Don't worry about whatever other things happens around. They're so conscious that they're eating right now. Okay, they're present. Every food they intake, they're every cell of the body alert. What is the food going inside? That presence, many times in the West you don't see. When you we had a little bit travel, I don't so much. I mean, have a little bit interest of studying. We say when the table culture,
yes,
where you are if you don't speak and eat, people think it's a rude. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. If correct me.
No, this is good.
Yeah, when you have you have to talk and make sure everything going on, talk on, eating. That time your mind is more about the subjects or the business or other things, rather than what my health and my presence is lost. That's why you can say in India, people even there is in a very small hut they are there. They are doing yoga. You just go in their face. They don't have a cloth. They don't maybe eat only one meal a day, but they have one freedom. They have a bliss. Just ask them, are you happy? They say, wow, I'm very happy. Say, you don't have food. Morning I ate. They don't I don't have that, I don't have this. They don't ask anything they don't have. They always say, I have that. Wow, that's nice. Yesterday we did, I went there. It is so good. There is maybe 100 problems there, but they are still enjoying that. That freedom still there within us, So, we don't need with the big things to be enjoying, but that freedom still there. People still enjoy that freedom. I believe that is the big yoga remain, And for them, doing asana is they are already sitting on the floor. If you ask them sit 3 hours or 4 hours, they will sit in one stretch. Okay, that freedom they have. I was other day was just watching 2 days ago. That was Shivaratri. Ask there is a domestic help. She said, I'm going to temple, sir, today. What are you going to do? I know this whole process, yeah? But I just asked her, will there is someone speaking something about what is the festival things, and we go and listen, and whole night we'll awake. And they did it, a small child and big and elderly people, every one of them, they go and sit in the temple, and the whole night they woke up. And the morning I asked, you are not going to sleep today? It's like the whole night you are awake up. No, today you should not sleep. Just imagine, it's like the 6 hours or 8 hours of sleep they left, but the next whole day they are kept them active, but they are not feel tired. That is called presence of mind. But that they didn't do asanas, but there is so much of the presence. Asanas, the whole idea of asanas also taking to that presence. Many times in the modern world of the speed of the practicing or working and thinking, we need a little space we create. Many people don't need, they don't think so much at all. They are enjoying the moment and that they work. That's why they do yoga. You see, if you go to the many of the schools, temples and all, there is a practice. My children go to school. All the school they teach yoga. We don't consider. You might here there is say Christian school, they teach yoga here. Okay, there is Muslim school, they teach yoga. It's not Hindu schools there. The government school, they teach yoga. There is not it's a religious thing at all here.
Because they don't view it as religious, right?
They the lifestyle they can say, science and the needy things of the life. Okay, that's why when we are as I told you, I learned the yoga in my school. We haven't so much opportunity, but as we don't have as a modern exposure as we are in the West, we have there is a studio culture and there is a gym. We go and do some yoga, and many times you are going to do a gym and all. You have so much music and you are not relaxed. Yeah, you are the mind is disturbed. The mind is listens to the music. According to music, we work. But yoga is not that. When you yoga, you listen inside. The peace where? You go and search peace everywhere. There is nowhere peace except you look inside. It is there. That's why we say, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The first Shanti is within me. The second Shanti is in the nature. Third, for the whoever we think of the unbeliever, or God or something. First, I have a Shanti or peace. Then we can have peace. If I don't have peace, I am disturbed. Surely we can't have. I shout and that lose the peace of everyone. That's how we in India we look into the practice of yoga. According to individual, we have a different object. Oh, sorry.
No. So just one last question. If there was one thing that you would love to bring to India or change, or what would that be? If there was anything that if you were the leader for the day, and is there anything that you would like to see happen more in your culture? Or?
In India, you mean?
Yeah.
In yogic culture?
No, just everyday life.
I think we have a lot. Okay. The people has to be the one thing they have to. Many times we are becoming so much with the modern gadget made us too much speed. I don't think that not necessary for us right now. We have I want to just to make sure people what they have that peace today, they should not lose that and keep that and take all the technology and all other things, but without losing the peace what we have right now. Okay, and that is what I think we need to keep. More than bringing something here, we have to preserve things what we have. And most of the most of the things I was saying in the modern practice of yoga, we become so much aggressive practice and sharp weight loss, and yes, the weight loss of yoga is really beautiful stuff. So yoga, when you do it, automatically weight loss happens. If there is any excess or anything is over or under, to bring balance is the whole idea of yoga. Okay, now that's the awareness of being present has to be, we have to retain it. And of course, there is a very good support is happening all direction. And we are really thankful for the people of the West they made like people importance to being a present, and okay, we have a beautiful science to preserve and carry. That's like, it's a big thing, and that's why, like, I salute your US people. They said it's a big business, it's good, but they did it, make the people aware. Maybe like, they made a money and that's secondary things. Like, in India, we don't look money is most priority at all. A first priority, what is the presence with builds for that. And that's why there is a lot of people become aware there is a yoga.
Yes.
Okay. When that is become like, as you said, it's a $27 billion the dollar market in US right now. It's good. Many people maybe got a job from it. Just imagine being a yoga teacher is the best job than any other things. Okay. You can relax yourself and you can enjoy, you can have a life to lead. There is what you need, that is also comes for managing your life, That's the best thing to have. Okay.
Well, I think so. I think so. Is there anything else you would like to say? Is there anything else that you would like to tell the world? If the world was listening, is there anything that you would like to say?
I'd just like to, any yoga practitioner or a people, when we do yoga practice, always remember there is a lot behind the body to work. There is, keep from the body and beyond the body to work. That makes a difference. And don't attach, okay, so much worked on this muscle, that muscle, this muscle. Is my mind affected or mind made any difference from my practice? Always look what mind says rather than what body just experienced.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
And I can't wait for you to come to California.
Looking forward to see you
Yes.
people out there. Okay.
And I will be back here, of course, trying to bring more people.
Always
You're
welcome.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
So wonderful. Thank you.